Welcome back to the regular exclusive podcast. And if you're like me, you probably have heard about this thing called CinemaCon that's going on right now. For the first time, I've never heard of this before, but there's a lot of news that's coming out of it. Renee, you're pretty versed on this. You've heard of this before, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah, and if you're not familiar with it, it's basically a yearly conference in Las Vegas, right here where I am, and it's all the studios make big presentations for their upcoming slate for the next year or two, to all the studio or to all the theaters, and it's like to show that what they have coming out will be like able to book butts in seats at the
Mm.
theaters and to get them on board to like you know book multiple theaters for their films and stuff. So it's trying to basically like look at I think it's a lot of teasers. Sometimes it's like like a scene or it's just like even just an announcement of something. So there's like so much news I feel like every day. There's teasers that go straight online, but a lot of it doesn't come out right away. And I think that's why it's like a cool event. It's pretty exclusive. Like if you're there, you're seeing stuff that most people won't be seeing for at least a couple weeks.
Yeah,
Most of it.
it's very different than like movie festivals where like
Like or even Comic-Con or something.
yeah. So, I mean, when I first saw this and like kind of read through what's going on, I was like, oh man, this gave me a really good idea that would never happen, but it'd be awesome if it did. Imagine if they did like a draft for movies where people go up, they pitch their movies, and then at the end of the whole event, all the studio heads, there's a lottery system and they start drafting. So it's like with the first pick,
That would be
Universal
cool.
Studios selects the up and coming Zach Kreger movie. Like,
Yeah. Untitled Zach Kreger film. We're going for it. 2 years away. We don't care. First pick. That would be really fun. Honestly, that sounds like an episode we should do. Just with like all the information coming out, we take the news and then we just do our own like live draft. I would never want to do that under any other circumstances except for movies. So that would be pretty fun. I feel like I'd kick your ass at least.
oh,
Whereas like you'd
probably.
probably destroy me on any other draft. So this is like I should be doing this. This is where I can win.
But yeah, this is a really interesting event that I hadn't heard of before. But yeah, it's like they're announcing movies not only that are coming out this year, but then like the next couple years. So really, they're
Yeah.
just trying to get all the movie theaters hyped for what
Yeah.
they got going on.
And we're getting hyped too, is the thing. Because even though like they're not releasing the footage directly, like online, some of them are, but like, they're showing clips for they showed the teaser for Zach Kreger's Resident Evil, and it's like everyone's dying for that to show up,
Yeah.
but like online. But of course, it's not there yet. It's coming out though September 2026. So all these things are just like so exciting. And if you want to get an idea of what it's like, or maybe the stress behind it, it's the season finale of the studio. They're going to CinemaCon in Vegas, and that's where maybe their best episodes. So
Yeah.
that's honestly better than that we could describe it. But there's so much news. It's like literally all week. So there's news coming out today and like tomorrow. So if there's anything really crazy, we'll be talking about it next week.
Yeah. Well, so
But
yeah,
we have a lot already to catch up on from just the first 3 days so far.
yeah. So I mean, let's start things off with Monday, which was Sony's day. And I mean, obviously they talked about Spider-Man, which
Yeah.
fingers crossed, it's good. I
Which
mean,
Spider-Man? Because they talked about Brand New Day with Tom Holland and then also Beyond the Spider-Verse.
oh right, Brand New Day. I think Beyond the
Okay.
Spider-Verse is slated for next year.
2027, yeah.
It's crazy to think be across the Spider-Verse that came out I think 23 or 2024, and
That's the second one?
yeah, that was the second
Okay.
one. But they announced Across the Spider-Verse and Beyond the Spider-Verse at the same time, and they're like, this one's coming out this year and then the next one's coming out the following year, and it's like
Cool.
no way in hell that's gonna happen, and then it's just been
Yeah.
delayed after delayed after delayed.
Well, at least they got a whole year. It looks like June 2027 is when they announced that. So we'll keep our eyes peeled and like fingers crossed for them. I don't know about you, but I was pretty hyped about Jumanji Open World just because I feel like that I forget when the second one came out, but I feel like they promised at the end of that, if in the little like mini post credit scene, that the game was coming back into the real world like in the original movie with Robin Williams. So I was like, are we gonna get a sequel? I feel like the first two came out pretty quick and then it was like a little bit of a delay, but now they announced it's coming out this Christmas and it's Jumanji open world. So it is confirmed that the game is in our reality.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited for it. Also, it's coming out on Christmas Day. We've had a
Yeah.
good string of Christmas Day movies the
Dude,
last
that's what
couple
I'm
of
saying,
years.
and Jack Black 2 years in a row? Did we, like, hit the lottery or something? Because last year, I saw Anaconda on Christmas Day, and the
Yeah.
year before that, Nosferatu, which was just delightful in such a mood, but, like, literally, Anaconda was so much fun on Christmas, so I'm hoping Jumanji Open World delivers. They said it's really gonna pay homage to Robin Williams, so if they do a really good job with that, I'm gonna cry,
Well,
but I'm excited about it.
they better get this right because I looked it up. So the first Jumanji, first with Kevin Hart and the gang,
Yeah,
that came out in 2017, and that did so well. They like rush ordered the second one, which came out in 2019. So they've
yeah.
had you know quite a bit of time
That's what I'm saying. I
to
almost
work
thought
on
this
this.
wasn't gonna happen until, like, I think last year when they were like, we're filming it," and I was like, "Finally." Jesus, I don't know, maybe I know they're, like, not the best movies ever, but I really enjoyed the new, like, Welcome to the Jungle especially, it's just so good, but the sequel was really, really fun and
Oh,
very just Jack Black and both of them really all of the cast is a delight, but Jack Black and Kevin Hart really, like, I think are just like magic in those movies.
I we did pods on them. Like we love this reinvention of Jumanji, and
Literally.
it's amazing. So I'm more than excited for this next one to be coming out. Um, I wanted to ask you, do you know anything about this Aaron Sorkin movie, The Social Reckoning? Like Aaron
Yes,
Sorkin's a name that has a lot of weight to it as a writer.
yes. If you don't know who he is, he wrote, I mean, he's a great writer. Look him up. Any movies that he's written, I feel like you could just tell because his writing is so specific. But I would say most people would probably recognize from The Social Network,
Hmm.
which is a David Fincher film from, fuck if I,
2010.
yeah, 2010. And it was like, I think it is still one of his best movies, and it's all about the creation of Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg, played by Jesse Eisenberg. But in this new one, which is called what the Social
Reckoning.
Reckoning,
Is
yeah,
this the
which I love
sequel?
that. Yes, so this is the
Oh,
sequel, and it is written again. Aaron Sorkin wrote the first one, and he wrote the sequel, and he's directing it too. He's also directed some stuff, so this won't be like his first time from writer to director, but his scripts are so like they're so I imagine they got to be like 1,000 pages long for like even not even like that long of a film. It's like he squeezes like so much dialogue in there. But the way that they're written is just like kind of amazing. And I'm really excited about this one. But it says that it's Jeremy Strong from
Succession.
Succession. He's playing Mark Zuckerberg as like the older version. So
Oh
I'm
God,
hyped on this.
he's gonna Jeremy Strong. I love him in Succession. Ever
But he's
since
the
then,
worst like
he
method actor, right?
he's getting really weird with like his method and like he swings really big for some of these roles. It's like I don't think you
He's
need to go that.
dangerously
Don't think you need to
yeah.
go that far.
It seems like he's dangerously close to becoming Jared Leto. Like, I don't know about you, but I'm kind of feeling like that is exactly the like path he's on unless he fixes himself and stop like this is like him being in character on Morbius and having to like, take an hour to go to the bathroom because he didn't want to not use the crutches. It's like, okay, like that is too much, dude. And
Yeah,
this Jeremy Strong feels like plus his fashion choices in real life too are pretty baffling like Jared Leto. I'm just like, it feels a little bit like that's the playbook he's following. And I
yeah,
hope to God for him because it seems like, I mean, he's a great actor, but maybe it was like just Succession was the best he'll ever be. And
maybe.
then he got weird. Who knows?
The worst part is that he seems so hungry and desperate to win an award.
Yeah,
that
he's
it's
like
like
the maestro Bradley Cooper thing. They're like, "Hey, the try hard shit is not gonna get you up there, buddy. You gotta
yeah,
act like you don't give a fuck."
he's just like, yeah, Jared Leto, he won an Oscar. I can do it. I'll follow his path. Wrong idol, my
Exactly.
guy. But
Absolutely the wrong person to be following for sure.
oh, well, the one of the movies that they announced that I was surprised a little bit, but also not really, is they're doing another Insidious movie,
Oh
and
god, I know. I saw this and I was like, "Really? Okay, what was the previous one
wasn't
was
it The
like
Red Door?
The Red Door, and that's the one with Patrick Wilson, and
And
he like
he
wrote
directed it.
yeah, he directed it. So I was like, I bought into the idiot hype. But also, I only had watched the second sequel. I don't think I ever watched Insidious 3 because it just focused on the chick whose name is Renee in the movies, but or maybe her name's Elise, I forget. But that's what it is. It's the character Elise, the old woman character. Like the third one's like all about her in some prequel, or maybe when she's dead. I don't fucking know. But this one, I didn't even look up the news about it because I'm like, this just bought like we don't need that many Insidious movies, and nowhere in the names and the credits do I see Lee Winnell or James Wan. So I feel like this is not. They're going in a fucked up. They're taking it way too far and going like Saw. Like we're getting
Yeah,
away from the message, the point of this, right? We've
yeah.
gone way too far. I thought the Red Door was like just a remake of the first movie, basically, because everybody forgot all the trauma from the first one. And I was like, what? It's my least favorite thing is because we all know what happened, and it takes them about three-quarters of the movie to remember what
Yeah.
happened. And then they're like, oh, we have to do something, and it's the same. So I was like, this was pretty lame. The
It's cr
direction was fine, but like other than that, it was like this should be over. So the fact that there's a new one just kind of pisses me off.
it's crazy the effect of franchises that were started by James Wan, and then when he exits, just like how much of a drop off there is.
I wonder if he'll ever come back to it and like kind of save it like he's doing with Saw now. Because I don't know if you heard, but him and Lee Winnell got the rights back with like
Oh, I
they're
didn't
cut
know
with
that.
Blumhouse and because they're partnered with Blumhouse now. So
Okay.
like they have it all back and they're gonna go back to basics with it for the next one.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool. And I feel like maybe they'll do that again with Insidious or maybe The Conjuring. I mean, they've started a lot of these. Maybe they really do need to come back and like, hey, let's make sure I'm putting in place people who know what we're doing here.
Yeah.
You know? Like
Well, and
maybe I need to come back and just steer the ship for a little bit.
it's like the Insidious is a lot like Paranormal Activity, and that the
Yeah.
first one made so much money that it doesn't even matter if the next 10 don't make money. Because like
Yeah.
they made so
They'll
much.
keep
Like
making them.
I just looked up Insidious. It was like a $1.5 million budget and it did over 100 million. So
Yeah,
like
they're like, "We're never letting this franchise die."
yeah, and it's like there's like 8 paranormal activities and stuff, and it's like people still go see them and
Surprised we
they're
haven't
still
heard that
doing well.
today. It's true. You're right. They really but out of all the movies that we've heard announced, I'm really honestly surprised that they didn't announce that they were doing like a remake of that too. Like
Yeah.
it or just another paranormal activity of some sort. It just feels like okay, I see this one is called Insidious Out of the Further, which is like, just get out of here. It's directed, co-written by a guy who did The Conjuring 2 and Orphan. So that's not too bad, but still, I think we're done here. You know, they
Yeah.
did announce just while we're talking about it, but there are two other remakes that are like technically horror movies or horror adjacent that were announced, and I don't know if you heard, so I did want to mention them because I don't know if these were studio or Sony or what, but oh no, it's Studio Canal. They announced they're doing a remake of John Carpenter's Escape from New York. Thank God
Ooh.
it wasn't the thing, but Escape from New York with Kurt Russell, that would be pretty awesome. So they're hoping to do that, or they're doing that. They don't have any people announced to it, but they did say they're also doing a remake of The Howling, which is a horror film from the 80s. It came out actually, I think, the same year as An American Werewolf in London.
Oh,
And
nice.
it's like the same, it's the guy actually who did the makeup special makeup effects in the thing. he
Oh,
did
nice.
this movie first, like right before it. So the werewolf effects are pretty great, and it's a really good like early '80s movie. But I guess they're doing that, and then they also we also have that Robert Eggers werewolf movie coming out this year. But I don't think that's for Steve. That I want to say
You mean
that's for Focus
werewolf?
Beach. Well, it's werewolf. It's not werewolf. It's WERWULF, which is just like we don't need another alternate spelling for werewolf, especially for this podcast. But in general, I feel that like that's a little bit much.
Well, to wrap up Sony, I just want to say I'm very excited. We have some great video game adaptations that were
Oh
announced.
yeah, shout them out.
Bloodborne, that's it's a hardcore game, but people are obsessed with it, and they've hated Sony because they've never remastered it, even though they own it. But the fact that we're getting a movie is pretty cool. We have another video game movie that just started production, Elden Ring, and that's
Oh, isn't that from Alex Garland who's
yeah,
doing
Alex
that?
Garland's doing it. So that's going to be really interesting. But I'm stoked for Helldivers. Helldivers is a blast of a game. And
That's a video game. What is it like a
Helldivers is essentially Starship Troopers.
Oh, okay, cool.
Like the commentary about war and patriotism, and it's
Fun.
just satirical and it's hilarious and it's just high octane action. And the fact that Justin Lin is directing it. Justin Lin did several of the Fast and the Furious movies,
Okay, cool.
and he
No wonder
directed.
you're excited about
I'm
it.
so stoked because he also he directed several of them. Like it's just going to be insanity. It's going to be funny. It's going to be entertainment. It's going to be pure popcorn cinema, and I'm so excited.
Hell yeah.
Uh, but then Tuesday was Neon, and they only announced a couple things. But the thing that I just wanted to shout out to Neon is the head of Neon was talking about like the theater. I think he said that the theater experience is not dying, it's changing. And
Mm,
the thing
I
that
like
is
that.
going to get us through this transition is originality. So essentially, Neon is just doubling down on continuing to do original stories and leading the way with that, which I love. Neon's great. And
Hell yeah.
Neon is also very unique. Like when I think Neon, I think A24, but
Hmm.
Neon, they do movies across genres. Like
And a lot of
A24,
foreign films, I would say too.
yeah.
They really like that's one of their strongest markets. So it's like is bringing a lot of foreign films here, and then also I just feel like in general, they're really sticking with their indie roots longer, or maybe just like because they started a little bit after A24. But like A24 is like, trying to do more bigger tentpole kind of films and franchises stuff, right? And that's kind of where they're pivoting a little bit. They're still doing their weird ass thing, but like, I like to see that Neon is like really still all about like original films, all genres, like all parts of the world and just focused on storytellers. And I feel like I'm like that's one of the reasons I'm like the combination of Neon and Oz Perkins like just has me very hyped because they announced that was probably the biggest announcement for me was hearing that they're doing a prequel to Longlegs with
Oh,
Nick
it
Cage
it is
returning.
going to be a prequel.
Yeah, well, I mean, it has to be right,
I mean,
unless he's
I
like because
assumed.
I mean, unless he didn't actually die. But hey, who knows? I mean,
I
he's
mean,
like
he could be a spirit.
that's what I'm saying. But I'd
Maybe
rather see him as a person. He's so fucking weird. Give Nick Cage all the movies with like I don't care. There's so many ways, so many things to call it. But like, I mean, or is this like shorter legs? Like, is this short legs? Like, because he's maybe it starts when he's younger. It's like I don't know how far
may-
back they're going. It's
maybe
prequel.
they just call it legs.
Ooh, yeah. He's got to earn them long legs.
Yeah.
Now there we go. Honestly, I'm just excited about that because Oz Perkins um and Nick Cage are doing it back together. So that's just cool.
But yeah, and like Neon, it's like I love that they can do all of these like sci-fi movies and horror movies, but then also like they they put out Splitsville. which is like
Yeah.
one of the funniest movies I've
Great
seen,
comedies too. Yeah.
last year. It was fucking great.
It was so good.
Extremely original.
Agreed.
So then we also had Warner Brothers. And
Hmm.
there's a lot of stuff coming out of Warner Brothers. I'll just kick it off. I am so excited for Godzilla Minus Zero. Godzilla
Yep.
Minus One was like my favorite movie of that year, and it was incredible. It's emotional. It's scary. I cried in it, and
I did
Godzilla.
too, honestly. It was like the best, like blew every other Godzilla film out of the water by a long shot. Any other monster film, really.
Yeah,
But especially I would say like any kind of like I don't know, even just like any movie that's trying to riff on like the Meg movies, I would
yeah,
say, even just because it's such a big creature and there's so much water stuff too.
yeah,
I would say like it just renders all of that shit not scary or whatever, because I don't care how big your creature is, it's never gonna look as good as like Godzilla did in that. Maybe it'll look better in this. I think the footage that they showed was like Godzilla walking past this Statue of Liberty. So I'm like,
yeah,
they're going like Cloverfield with it, and I love that because that's like the best way to get people hyped is destroying the Statue of Liberty or something.
yeah. The teaser is out for it, and it
Oh, I
ends.
haven't seen it yet. Is it great?
I mean, it's a teaser, so like it just
Still,
shows flashes of things, but yeah, it ends with Godzilla walking past the Statue of Liberty.
love
So
it.
I mean, that could be, and the movie takes place 2 years after Minus One. So like I could see the Statue of Liberty thing being at the start of the movie, like Godzilla's come back to life and he's coming back into the world in America, getting a little revenge maybe. But the director said that this story is going to be even darker and more troublesome for for the family that we followed in the first one.
Even though like it really ends on that pretty dour note where you're like, man, like who knows what the fuck kind of like
Yeah.
radiation and sickness that this chick's gonna be dealing with forever. And all of them, honestly.
Yeah, and there's some very strange sci-fi things that you see for glimpses, but I mean, I am just so excited. So I know where I will be November 6th. Um,
That's pretty hype. I will say Dune Part 3 is probably one of the things I was super hyped
yeah,
about. Like just I'm super hyped about seeing it this year. Like Doomsday is gonna be like not a thing. I'm just wanting to see Dune. Like I don't care. I'm sure Doomsday will be great. But like Dune Part 3, I'm so hyped. And even just like that tiny trailer teaser thing that they dropped after the Oscars was
that
so
was
good.
that was lit. The chanting and like I was like, I'm I got the hair on my arms is
Yeah.
standing up like it's pretty hype.
And it sounds like they showed the opening sequence of the movie, which is pretty cool, like at CinemaCon. So obviously, I don't know if they might release that if it's like not really spoilery at all, but it has to do with Javier Bardem and the Fremen on some other rainy world and having to face down some sort of enemy. I don't know how long it is, but it sounds like it's pretty exciting. And I'm from what the director said, I really feel like it Denis Villeneuve said the first movie was pretty like contemplative about like basically a lot of different ideas.
Mhm.
The second one was kind of like the hero turning to the villain story of like this, and it was really all about war. And then this one he said is going to be more of a thriller in tone because it's like a reckoning of like they're probably very similar to the social reckoning, but like a reckoning of all the decisions that Paul made in Dude Part 2. And this is like 17 years later, he said, or something like that is when we're jumping to.
Okay.
So 17 or 18 years later, which I think makes
Makes sense
sense
for
that they
Anya
extended
Taylor-Joy.
it so that she would be able to be an adult instead of a child in the book because it doesn't work. It's creepy. And I think he's changing stuff around again to be more like similar to the books, or at least like the message behind the story versus like exactly adapting it. So I personally think this is like one of the most hyped things for me. I don't know about you, but
It
Dune Part 3 like is gonna be so good.
it looks great. Uh Timmy Chalamet shaved his head,
Yeah.
which was a little sad because he's got a gorgeous head of hair.
It'll be back.
but it looks great.
Hopefully.
Like
Yeah.
if if the quality of this one matches the other two, like we're going to be talking about Dune, I think, in a very similar conversation as Lord of the Rings. Like
Oh, I would already put it there. It's like this,
unless
like
they
it's.
totally fuck it up. Like
I don't think Denny Villeneuve is capable of fucking it up that bad. He would really have to destroy shit. It would be there's just no way. But no, I think it's gonna be great. I'm so hyped. I wonder if they'll do any more, but like he's probably like, I'm done with Dune for a while. Which
yeah.
that say done with Dune like 10 times. I bet you fucking can't. That is tough. But Dune, I don't know if you saw this from Universal, because that's wait, this is Universal, right? That we're talking about? Oh no, not
No,
Universal. Sorry, we're talking
Warner
about Warner Brothers. Um, I don't know if you saw this, but I was excited that they've apparently showed a teaser for Clayface, which is from DC
Ooh.
Studios. And I don't know if you remember, but it's written by Mike
Yep.
Flanagan.
Oh yeah.
So, and it's a horror film of like the character Clayface, who's always been a Batman
Yep.
villain.
Yep.
Okay. It says that it has ominous atmosphere and that it showed several unsettling shots of the protagonist, the main character, grappling with the flesh of his face, moving around in ways it definitely shouldn't. So I was like, cool. That's going to be pretty exciting. And I feel like, and it's directed by James Watkins, who also directed, he directed, I think,
Oh,
the newest, what?
he did Speak No Evil, the new one.
Yeah,
He
which is
also
not that bad.
no, but he also did Eden Lake, which
Oh,
is
that is a fucked up dark
dark.
one. Yeah. So hey, that means that this guy is capable. And I honestly I feel much better about DC handling a horror comic book film better than I would about Marvel.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
don't think they're gonna play it safe. And if Mike Flanagan is writing it, holy fuck. I
Yeah.
just I'm that's our Lord and Savior on this podcast. So
And
we speak very highly of him.
and I'm just curious to see if they if they tie this in to James Gunn's DC world. I don't think this is going to get tied in with Rob Pattinson.
No, he seems to be I don't know. It seems like if I if I'm going to predict what happens there, I feel like Rob Pattinson will stay in his movies, but like I think James Gunn will eventually do a Batman film with a new Batman.
Yeah, they've already announced it. They just haven't told us who is playing him.
But I think they're going to wait for Batman Part 2 or whatever to come out with Rob Pattinson and then maybe wait and deal with it then. But like
I
I
mean,
could
like
be wrong.
I mean, this is essentially going to be a villain origin story, and if Mike Flanagan's writing it, it's going to be better than any of the Sony villain
Yeah.
movies we've been getting. So they could very well tie this into a future Batman thing. But I Clayface is a great
I'd be cool
character.
with the standalone too. Like it
Yeah,
doesn't yeah, and if he's the main character, like he doesn't like you don't really need to involve Batman at all in the first movie.
yeah. Because
Maybe at the
by
end,
the
but
time
like
Batman and them meet, like he's already Clayface. So
yeah, like
this,
we should get time
yeah.
with him before that. I agree.
But speaking of Lord of the Rings, we have to talk a little bit about this
Oh,
the hunt
yep.
for Gollum.
Yes, let's do it.
There's a lot of things that look good on paper.
Mhm.
Um,
With the hunt for Gollum, yeah.
like, but
I mean, most of the cast they have back, like Ian McKellen. I can't believe it. He's back as Gandalf. We talked about it previously a little bit, but
yeah,
I'm pretty sure like and Elijah Wood's back. But I think like the biggest announcement because we knew this was happening, but it's like the casting. They confirmed that both of those guys are in it, even though Ian McKellen already secretly or kind of already did. But they announced that. They announced like obviously Andy Serkis is back for to play Gollum as well, even though he's also writing directing. And then they announced the casting for young Aragorn because I believe like a week or two ago they already said it's not Viggo Mortensen,
yeah. And so
which makes sense.
this story takes place before it is like in between The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings.
It's kind of like actually, at least from what I can tell, it seems to be either between The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, or it's like when Gandalf leaves at the beginning of the Fellowship, and he's like, I have to do research, and they don't tell you, but he's gone for like 12 years. And
Okay.
yeah, like in the book. And so there's a lot of time in there. And I want to say a lot of that when he comes back and like talks to Frodo about it, he says, I searched everywhere for the creature Gollum, but the enemy found him first. So I'm pretty
Oh, okay.
sure it's that side mission. Plus, they're not going to go back too early with Ian McKellen, I would imagine, or hope. But also, I mean, he's already like look, they already aged him up for the first movie. So it really is fine. But I do
He's always
understand
been an old man.
it works, but I do understand that like there is a thing with like casting a younger person to play Viggo Mortensen instead of the actor. But Jamie Dornan from 50 Shades of Grey, among a lot of other stuff, I think he's a good choice. I think he'll be a good like look enough similar, but I think it makes sense to go with someone else.
I just hope that he crushes it because I just don't want to hear people complain about him
Yeah,
after this comes out. Because, like, yeah, all the people coming back make sense. Like, Lee Pace doesn't age. You know, Ian McKellen has always been an old man. All these people that are coming back, and we even saw this with Orlando Bloom in the Hobbit movies. Like, these people don't age. Viggo Mortensen has aged, and it's very apparent. So, like,
yeah,
if there's anyone, also Elijah Wood doesn't age. He's just it's whether he
yeah,
has a beard or not. Like, that's
yeah.
that's the difference.
That's
But
true.
yeah, it's
And
like,
Lee Pace, right,
yeah,
from The Hobbit, like he still looks just as good. And that's the nice part about the elves. I was a little surprised they didn't announce Orlando Bloom in this one, but like I love Legolas, but I did feel like maybe we were stretching it a bit with The Hobbit. They were over CGIing and maybe I don't know. But I
yeah.
still was like, I'm always down for Legolas to show up. So
Yeah. And so, yeah, like you have to recast Aragorn, especially if this is
he makes sense.
a younger version of him.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, based off his age in the movie, he wouldn't be. What was he in Two Towers on the extended? He's like 84 or something like
No,
that.
he's like 80. Yeah, he's in his like 87 or something. Like,
Yeah,
cause he's like one of the Dunedain, so he ages slower than the rest of humanity because they're gifted long life from the elves.
yeah,
But which I'm such a nerd for knowing that, but I don't care. But yeah, so he should, but he looks like he's in his like 40s.
yeah,
So I don't think Jamie Dornan's like too young. It's not like Chris Pratt. If they announced that, I'd be like, fuck it.
yeah,
No, what? I would be mad. That would be like how I'd feel is like that Comic-Con thing in Ted 2, and they're like, and the new Superman is Jonah Hill. And then Mark Wahlberg's just
fuck.
fuck the way that he screams it. That's how I'd feel if that was the announcement. But yeah, no, I don't know what this movie will be, but I'm excited and I have faith in Andy Serkis. So
Yeah, I'm glad that Andy Serkis is at the helm of this
yeah,
because, yeah, it has to be him.
it's
So,
in good hands. So, but yeah,
yeah,
let's talk about another exciting thing from. Well, I guess first let's just say they announced Final Destination 7 is happening,
yeah,
which obviously from the amount of money they made with 6, it just makes sense. It's not the same director duos, but it is what the woman who wrote the script with them.
okay,
She's writing the new script. They haven't announced filmmakers taking it over yet, I don't think. But I think like it makes sense to hand off if there's any franchise that makes sense to hand off to different directors every time, it's Final Destination because your cast is killed off in the same movie. So there's like, I mean, unless you have like a random situation like the chick from the second one,
yeah.
you don't need to like have some continuing story, right? So I'm hyped about that, but I don't know. Did you have anything to add that says it's coming out 2028? So I'm just excited that we're getting another one.
Yeah, I'm excited that we're not having a huge gap between like we did between 5 and 6.
Yeah,
And
that was too
the
long.
last one was so good and it was such a good reminder of like these are so fun. Like let's just keep having these. Let's just keep it going.
Every 2 years, if we can get Final Destination movies, I'd be a lot happier with even the shit going on in the world. At least I would be like, all right, well, at least there's a new movie about death. That's something to look forward to.
Yeah.
But
So,
let's talk about another very awesome franchise that is also relevant to today's conversation about Sam Raimi's Send Help. But this is they announced they confirmed both of the next Evil Dead movies, which we're big fans of the
Hmm.
franchise. And especially, I think we both really loved Evil Dead Rise
Yeah.
from the guy who just did the new Mummy movie that's coming out, I think, in a week or two,
Yeah.
Lee Cronin. So I love the Evil Dead franchise because I think Sam Raimi's like not really involved in like as much as he used to be. Obviously, this was like his franchise, but it seems like since they did the kind of reboot, whatever,
Hmm.
from Fede Alvarez, it feels like he's getting new up and coming directors that he feels might fit in this world and setting them an offer of like, would you like to play in my sandbox? And if you would, what would you want to do? And then they send him whatever their pitch would be. And then he says, yes, go for it and go, ape shit. And so I love that that's what he's doing with that franchise because it's, I mean, a lot of these guys are pretty much leaning into the body horror elements of it,
Hmm.
which makes sense. The gore has always been iconic with it. But I'd be curious if any of these new ones incorporate any comedy because I think that's always one of my favorite parts about, like, especially the later sequels. So
Yeah, the last two have been very serious.
yeah, everything that hasn't been from Sam Raimi, like since him. So Evil Dead Burn is the one that's coming out this year in July, which is super hyped about that because
Yeah.
that's this year, this summer, and it's directed by Sebastian Vanacek, who directed an incredibly horrifying, amazing horror film called Infested that's on Shudder, and you should watch it. It's a
Oh,
French horror film, so you know it's extreme, but it's all about spiders, so it's
it's
even more extreme. Um,
unbelievable movie.
yeah, so and I heard from the footage that they showed at the Warner Brothers panel that they disgusted everybody in the audience. So I feel that it's going to be leaning into the body horror. It sounds like the gore, which
Yeah.
makes sense. So we'll see if there's any humor. But they also announced Evil Dead Wrath is going to be coming out in 2027. So they've got Evil Dead this year and next year. I just love that. And they said it's going to be directed by Francis Galepi,
Yeah.
which I think is a newer director as well. So
He's
like
only done one other movie.
which like Sebastian Vanacek, I think has done like two, maybe,
Okay.
but it seems like these are like guys who he thinks are like talented, or he saw their films and was like, Sam Raimi's like, I like that guy. I want to get him working in this kind of a world and see what he can do. I love that energy. And Sam Raimi seems like the coolest guy to collaborate with. So
I I love the idea of Sam Raimi just scouting for directors for these
that
movies.
guy's
Like,
kind of fucked up.
just
I think he could do it. He saw like, I mean, after Fede Alvarez, he saw the like, what is that one? The where they can't speak or whatever. What is it?
oh
With the
crap.
they robbed the blind guy. They tried to rob the blind guy's house.
Uh,
Is it
God,
Don't
don't
Speak? No.
breathe. Don't breathe.
Don't Breathe. Okay.
Yeah.
That one is so like disgusting at the end with like the way that he's gonna impregnate the chick with the fucking
Yeah.
excuse me, the turkey baster. But my God, I feel like that's what I'm saying. He saw that scene and Sam Raimi's like, oh, this guy's fucked up. Let's get him over here in Evil Dead universe. Let's see what else he can do. I bet you the same thing with watching Infested. He was like, this shit's gnarly. Like,
Yeah.
let's get this guy
He's-
into with some zombies that are usually a lot more fun than any other zombies, honestly. Evil Dead zombies would probably be the most fun.
Oh, now that we're talking about it, I would really love it if so the Infested director, he's doing Burn.
Yeah, Evil Dead Burn, which comes out this year.
Oh, it would be great if we got a like a possessed animal.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. They use real spiders and
Yeah.
infested and shit. Can you imagine?
Like
Boy, they could really go fucking ape shit.
a possessed cat.
They don't even need a possessed one, just a fucking evil cat already. I mean,
It's a possessed
they're
cat
halfway there.
that doesn't change at all how it
Yeah.
behaves.
Just slightly more aggressive, but that's it. And it's like, or he's got googly eyes or crazy eyes and says weird shit like the Evil Dead zombies do. So
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited. And like look at Fede Alvarez now. He's doing Alien Romulus. He's killing it.
He's just doing good shit. So it looks like a great place to start if you're into horror, and especially if you want to have like just a free reign. It sounds like he's not like going to be telling you what to do or making you cast whoever. Like, I think this sounds like a great deal for most people, especially like new directors who want to prove something, and what a
Yeah.
fun universe to fuck around in. So, but I
Seriously.
think what we want to spend the most time on is going to be the Resident Evil from Zach Kreger, right? I know we didn't
Yeah.
mention it originally with the day one stuff, but that's because we're saving it for the end, obviously.
Yeah.
Was
Well,
there anything else you wanted to mention first, though,
um,
before we jump into that?
I did want to ask you real quick if you have any thoughts on the Game of Thrones movie, Aegon's Conquest.
I don't have any thoughts. I don't know. They really burned me with that final season, and I still haven't gotten over it.
But you like House of the Dragon.
I like House of the Dragon. I didn't watch The Night of the Seven Kingdoms,
I
but I
didn't
heard
watch
everyone
that.
loved it.
Heard it's really good.
So I'm open, but I'm also like I remember what you were like when you were at your worst, and I'm not sure I can really forgive, but we'll see. I mean,
The-
Aegon's Conquest, if you're gonna do a movie, that sounds like the right way to do it. That's a cool thing.
I'm a little concerned though. There hasn't been a lot of success lately with TV shows making movies. Like it didn't work very well for Marvel. They did all of their TV shows and then they tried to Captain
Hmm.
America. They tried to do that, and then the Thunderbolts was a bunch of the TV characters.
Hey, that worked though. Did it
Hey,
make money?
no, Thunderbolts was a very expensive
Well, I
movie.
guess
It,
to be fair, they can't really. It's hard for a fucking Marvel movie to even be profitable. I understand, like
yeah,
how much they're spending. Yeah,
but we loved the Thunderbolts.
yeah,
Easily the best movie since Endgame, I think.
hell yeah.
But yeah, I'm a little concerned of a TV show coming to the movie theaters. And Game of Thrones was the biggest TV show ever,
Yeah,
but I don't know. And then
Stranger Things did it.
we're
Not
gonna.
necessarily purely in theaters, but they got butts in seats for their finale.
I mean, we're gonna see another example of this with the Mandalorian and Grogu that's coming
Yes,
out, and I've heard reports are that it is not looking good from pre-sales and stuff.
yeah.
So
I hope that they keep trying because I do think someone will break through and do that because I love the idea of like a TV show and like also having movies that connect, but like are kind of one offs or like whatever, or maybe like tell other like parts of the story that are not as like dense, right?
that's where this one seems like it could work in that if you've never watched the show, you could come into this and it could fill you up because Aegon is mentioned a lot in the stories, but
Yeah, and I feel like
we've
his
never
story's pretty
seen
great on
the
its
story.
own.
Yeah,
Exactly. So it could work either way. I think that like that's again, like I said, the Aegon's Conquest is the right story to do if you're going to do that. We'll see though. I'm not sure, but I like the idea that people keep trying this.
yeah,
So
yep. But Resident Evil,
yeah, Zach
I'm
Kreger.
hyped for it. Zach Kreger, I believe, can do no wrong.
He loves the games. He's played them for an embarrassing amount of hours, he said. So I feel like that's great. And he said he's not doing it like a direct adaptation. I think what he said was like the game is so cinematic already that like you would never be able to do a better version if you like tried to adapt it
Yeah,
directly. And he said also like, he's not gonna have the same characters like a Leon Kennedy or whoever like
yeah,
that are gonna pop up. And I feel like that makes more sense too. Like this, I guess that's the same obviously for those other older movies. I thought that they had characters, but they're kind of weird. But this seems like it's going to be more of like a straight up horror survival story of
yeah.
like one guy just like trying to deliver something to a hospital in the midst of like all these fucking infected people turning into creatures and weird shit all around him and trying to kill him. And from the footage, it sounds pretty amazing. So I personally, I hope the trailer comes out soon because it sounds like it's a teaser only, but like I imagine within the next maybe month or so, we'll at least get this trailer.
Yeah. The games are they're very thick in plot, and yeah, it would be hard to really do a full adaptation of it. So when I think about what I want from this movie and when I think about the games, it's all about vibe. It needs to be tense, it needs to be a little chaotic, it can't be like a full-blown action movie because a big part of the games is you don't have unlimited ammo. So you have to pick
Yeah.
your shots. So it's real survival. And I fully trust Zach Kreger to nail that vibe.
Cool. I love that. I haven't actually played the games because they seem like terrifying and I think I would have a heart attack. But I've played some of the Resident Evil characters in Dead by Daylight. So I know a little bit of my shit, but not a ton. But I'm just like, I think this will be really, really fun for everyone and like also very different from what he's already done. So like this just I hope we get the trailer soon, basically.
Yeah. And after Weapons, he can do whatever he wants. The
Yeah.
final scene in Weapons, that we need that for the whole movie.
That's what it
Like,
sounds like.
That's it. That's
That's what
like
people were saying.
the
It
best
feels like
zombie.
that's the description is that like they compared it to like either like basically the ending of that and how it's just like one pure long action sequence that doesn't end until it ends. That they said it was kind of like a Mad Max Fury Road where it just like
Yeah.
starts and then doesn't let down. And
Yeah.
so I'm hyped. I think it'll be like a roller coaster, but terrifying in
Yeah.
the best ways. So honestly, all this news is just getting me so hyped about the next year and more. Honestly, we have so much good stuff, and we're not even like we still have today and tomorrow. So I have a feeling next week, with how much we had to talk about today, we'll probably have twice as like just as much to talk about next week.
Can't wait. All right, well, let's take a little break and then get into Send Help.
I'm going to be frank with you. You are smart. I know that you are great with numbers, but I just don't think you got it. As an executive, I see no value in you. Does that make sense?
I'm sorry, what?
You know we have the Bangkok merger coming up. Prove me wrong. Oh, Linda, before you go, I forgot to mention I've received a few complaints about you.
Complaints?
Noxious odors.
Oh, God.
Take your seats, you're a little bitch.
Look who's joined the land of the living.
How long?
You been out? Day and a half?
Have you tried making a distress signal? Or a bigger fire?
I was busy trying to keep us alive.
So getting us out of here, that should be your focus, not being Susie Homemaker over here.
What did you just say to me?
Let's not forget, I'm your boss. You work for me.
We're not in the office anymore, Bradley. No help is coming. You just have to accept that this is how things are now. You ever hunt? I think I like it. You are stuck with an asshole boss. Just like I was. Although I'm betting I am a much nicer boss than you ever would have been. Except for maybe this part. I don't think we should ever leave.
All right, let's talk about Send Help. Sam Raimi jumping back into the world of outrageous. I want to say horror comedy, but I don't really know if this movie is a horror movie.
I would say it's more of like a survival thriller.
Yeah.
Right? Like it feels like it's a survival film. So it has that in common with like Castaway or something because they're like stranded on a deserted island and have to survive. But then there's also the like thriller aspect, which is like kind of from Misery, which technically is counted as horror as well.
Yeah.
Because you do have like whenever someone's taking anybody captive, it feels you're leaning into horror territory. That's like, I mean, honestly, just slap horror on it. That's how they categorize everything that doesn't really fit into like drama, it feels like, you know?
Yeah.
So even though this is technically, you're right, more of a thriller and a comedy thriller,
Yeah.
weirdly, I would say it still has some horror tinges to it. So we'll call it whatever you guys want. You can tell us what you think. But I do feel like it's got some horror elements, but I'm comfortable calling it a thriller.
Yeah. Well, and this is like the first rated R movie that he's done in like 20 years or something. Like, because I mean, Sam Raimi, probably one of the most known and beloved directors of all time. You know,
I would hope so if people are smart. But I think so.
Especially like he's so known across so many different genres. Like you could make a real debate that the current superhero movie industry started because of Sam Raimi.
I mean, Spider-Man and all of the sequels with Tobey Maguire, those are really like it. I mean, to me, it makes sense that those are like the blueprint for every Marvel movie. I would say they probably would say like, you know, a little bit more of like Iron Man, but that's more when they refine the formula. And then they've repeated that formula all over the place. If they were repeating the Spider-Man formula every time of like what Sam Raimi did with Spider-Man, I think they would have more success across the board. But they seem to be replicating like everyone's going to have quippy, fun, witty one-liner movies just like Iron Man. But it's like that was the specialty of Iron Man, though. He was witty and had those little one-liners. But like not everybody needs that.
Yeah. Well, and it's like Spider-Man, and then we got to shout out Blade. Spider-Man and Blade, like those, 1999 to 2002, like those two movies are like, hey, these movies can make a lot of money and they can have sequels, and we can do this for a long time. And and both of them, the third one didn't totally land as good as the previous ones, but like they still made money. They still did really well. And they are beloved. Like people love those movies. And so like Sam Raimi did the Evil Dead trilogy. He did the Spider-Man trilogy. And
a lot of different movies in between too.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. He's had quite the career. And this movie has a lot of like Sam Raimi isms that makes you feel like, okay, yeah, this is definitely a Sam Raimi film, which like his car, it appears in every single film. I'm sure that you know that, but like,
I did not know that actually.
Oh, really? Okay. So I forget what the exact
is the car
is.
She's driving at the end. Is that his car?
No, I'd send help.
Yeah.
No, it's behind her when she's crying in the parking garage. It's just a small thing. But I just rewatched Drag Me to Hell, and it's the car that the old woman drives. And then in Evil Dead, that's really where it started in those movies. It's Bruce Campbell's car that he's driving in those movies.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, the tan, like really old car that's like fucking I forget what it even is called, but either way, look it up. It's like a tan, really old looking car that's pretty awesome though, honestly. Like it's cool, and it shows up in every single one of his films, even his Doctor Strange sequel, like everything.
A 1973 Oldsmobile Delta.
Yeah, okay.
88 Royale.
Oldsmobile, but I thought that was offensive, and I was just saying like it's an old car, but it is an Oldsmobile. Wonderful. Okay,
so that's Uncle Ben's car in the.
Yeah, it is. I was gonna say that's also, it's literally in every single one of his movies. And another little Raimiism that is really hard to catch in this movie, because I feel like it's blink and you fucking miss it, but Bruce Campbell has a cameo in Send Help as well. He is the portrait of Bradley's father who passed away. It's like a picture on the desk of like his father, and it's like that's the one time that he was able to get him in the movie. But I love it. Hilarious. He always sneaks him in there, but I would say between those two things, Bruce Campbell, and which is again, I feel like that and the Oldsmobile are pretty like background details in this one.
Yeah.
But the number one thing that tells you you're in a Raimi film, besides the silly like look of things when you have like a face jumping in and giving you a jump scare, it's always some crazy looking face. It's like that always happens. But the like POV shot of like the villain or whatever, like that he started in Evil Dead, and you get it here with like the boar attack. And whenever you get those like fast moving POV shots, the tracking shots are just so fun. And I think I saw that like when they filmed the original Evil Dead movies, they attached the camera to like a 2x4, and like him and Bruce Campbell like were on either end of it and just ran it through the woods, and that's how they got all those shots. And I just like, I love that DIY element of it, and why like I think it's cool how he's just really those things that you have to do when you have no budget that end up making it really cool, or like they invent something new that like he's ended up continuing to use all these elements throughout his career. I just love that.
That's great.
So I just had to shout those out for Sam Raimi before, because like for me it feels like those three things, like essentially I know I'm in a Sam Raimi film.
Yeah. Well, and so it's funny. I just watched for the first time, like a couple months ago. I watched Drag Me to Hell,
Oh, because you
and
hadn't seen it, right?
I hadn't
Yeah.
seen it. It's like it was on my list for a long time. Um, and you've been speaking its praises, and that movie is a blast. And I now I like I there's a pattern now that I'm seeing. Whenever Sam Raimi does a superhero movie, the next movie he does is going to be a hell of a fun movie because
Yeah.
he did Spider-Man 3. So like Sony owned him for 5 years with those three
Yeah.
movies. And then he took a couple years off and then he did Drag Me to Hell. He's like, we're going back to my roots. Like just
Yeah.
like splatter,
It was
blood,
basically the
everything.
PG-13 version of The Evil Dead. Like,
Yeah.
that's what's so cool about it. And it seems like, oh, Sam Raimi doing a PG-13 film, how lame. But it's like he really showed you the boundaries of he pushed it all the way with like it should be R. It feels like it should be. But
Yeah.
the fact that like a lot of the bodily fluids aren't red. And so that's why it works. And that's why it was allowed to be PG-13. So it's one of the first movies I feel like that I learned, and like The Ring, I would say, that like taught me that like, you know, it could be a horrifying or disturbing ass film for PG-13. Like
Yeah.
there's people who could make shit fucking that like fucked up. Same with King Kong, the Peter Jackson version. Like that's PG-13. People can really, you can really stretch that as long as you're not just gushing blood everywhere, which is shocking. But yeah, after Spider-Man 3, which everyone was like, has he lost it as a director? He's like, fuck no. Drag Me to Hell. PG-13 doesn't stop me. I'm
And-
fucking delivering a mean ass, very fun horror movie for like as fun as that movie is. It's such a blast, but it is a mean ass movie. Like
Yeah.
Jesus, it's so cruel, but I love it. I don't care. But you're right though, because then he did Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness and had to do like, I mean, 4 years between then and now, and then comes out with Send Help, and you're like, oh, this is fun. Sam
Yeah.
Raimi's like, I just want to do something like for me now, and that's
Well-
what it feels like. This movie and Drag Me to Hell have a lot in common.
Well, oh yeah, and Multiverse of Madness, it was fun. It was fine. But really, the best part of that movie is that Sam Raimi and Rachel McAdams got to work together because they got back together for Send Help, and Rachel McAdams is incredible in this movie.
She is. It makes you. I saw that like almost every review said the same thing that I thought during this movie, which was like, why is she not in every goddamn movie that I'm seeing? You know,
Yeah,
like she should be starring in everything. She's one of the best actors of all time, and especially in this, I think she's done so many different things already. I mean, just from like starting in literally like the Mean Girls and The Notebook, like in the same year.
the hot
and
chick
then
was her first
The hot
movie.
chick, and she played Rob Schneider in her body like perfectly. She was so good in that. And I feel like a little bit of energy is like in this movie, but like she's really, I would say, for out of any other film that she's done, because she's like, she can do it. She can nail basically every other movie. She's done like rom-coms. She's done drama films. She's done a lot of different things. She's done thrillers, but this is her first like straight up, like I would say more of a, it's got all these different elements that she's never really done before or that we've never seen from her, and she just nails everything.
It's like, yeah, the other like thriller movie that I think of with her is Red Eye.
Love that. Wes Craven.
Yeah, she's great in that. But this movie it has the thriller elements to it, but it's also a lot like it's a really goofy movie. Like
Yeah.
it's like
She gets to be really funny in this movie.
yeah, it's like it's if you take Red Eye and then like her character kind of in like Game Night, and it just
Yeah, absolutely. It's got a lot of the Game Night humor, which when you see that, you're also like, how is she so funny and not in every goddamn comedy? Like when you see Game Night, you're like, every time I just see her in any film, I'm like, why is she not in this enough? Or why is she not in everything? Like that's how I felt with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness too. And I love that Sam Raimi was like, I loved her. I thought she was an incredible actor. And I thought, why is she underutilized in this film? It's like a crime. And I was like, I agree. So I'm glad that he actually did use her a lot more than she was in the previous one. So
Yeah.
there's that. But he really like just I think they just clicked. I hope they do more together, honestly. If they become like Scorsese and Leo, I'm all for it.
And absolutely no shade to Dylan O'Brien because he
Oh
was
yeah.
great too. But just
He actually was very impressive as well. I think both actors, this was like, I totally see why they both signed up for this because it's like, this is going to help. This shows something for both of them that I think was very impressive and not something that we really had been used to,
yeah.
right? From either of them. But mostly, I think like Rachel McAdams got to play outside of like really like Mean Girls. She hasn't really played the heavy of the movie, right? Who's also the
Yeah.
protagonist in a weird way. And I love that for her. This is very much one of those good for her films, which
Yeah.
she's not necessarily taking her feelings out in the exact perfect, most emotionally healthy way. But I feel at the end of it, I don't give a fuck because good for her. She deserves it.
She's amazing. And also like one of the funniest like press tours, her and Dylan O'Brien
Oh,
going around doing interviews.
Yeah.
And, like Dylan O'Brien is like he's like 13 years younger than her. She's like 30, he's like 34 and she's 47. And so like he's talking about like he's like the entire movie. I'm just in awe that I'm doing a movie with Rachel McAdams. Like he grew up like watching all
Oh,
of
I
these
know.
movies. And he's like, oh my God, I'm doing a movie with her. And she's amazing. Like, what?
Seriously, I love the energy that they had
Like,
in the
he's just
interviews.
fanboying over her.
So cute. And honestly, like I would be too. Are you kidding me?
Oh,
She's
yeah.
amazing. And like the fact that he's like I'm obsessed. I think he said he was obsessed with Mean Girls and like he knows all the things. And she's like, she doesn't even know. Like she's doesn't keep up with like her own stuff, which I feel like is pretty, that makes sense. But I really thought like I think honestly nowadays for like promoting your film, the press tour is like half of what gets people to go see the movie. Because in a similar way, I thought Zendaya and Robert Pattinson nailed their press interviews. And it was very much of like, I could see they had more of a really fun platonic chemistry, which you're like, I don't know how it'll translate to the romantic energy in the movie, but I'm sure they're great. But like, I feel like this one, like they had such I just felt like the chemistry from Dylan O'Brien and Rachel McAdams just in their press tour, I was like, they're going to be so good in this movie together. Like I knew it just before even watching it, which I think is what's really important nowadays, weirdly, is like that press tour really fucking helps get people to go see the film. Because if you could tell they have zero chemistry in the press tour, you're like, I don't think this is going to be a good film. Like, I don't think I'm going to want to go see this, But if it's like Jacob Elordi and Margot Robbie, I know they bothered some people, but I was like, I think that like she might have really fallen in love with him. And I get it. I would too. But I was like, the way that she was talking about her and the director, Emerald Fennell, talking about all the things that he would just do. And they're like, he's like the most perfect man. I'm like, I know. I felt the same way. So I was like, I would be fangirling over him too. Like, I get it. And they have an age difference too, which I thought was interesting because it's kind of similar here. But these two have such good chemistry in the way that like, this movie, they keep you guessing as to what movie you're watching the whole time. Is it a thriller? Is it a rom-com? Is it a thriller? Is it a rom-com? I just don't know. And I love that because I think one of the things, and maybe we should talk about this up front, but like one of the things I saw in a lot of reviews, and I don't know a ton of I don't know any friends who saw Triangle of Sadness except for you.
Yeah.
Which was from 2023 and that was an Oscar film. I hadn't seen it until it was just on Netflix this year, and I enjoyed it. But I was like, so when after seeing that and then seeing Send Help, I was like, oh, I bet that they're like that the twist is probably going to be similar, and it is.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we want to talk about it, but I did see that like the guys who wrote Send Help, they wrote this a long time ago, so they didn't get it. They just haven't gotten it made until now.
Yeah.
So they wrote it technically before Triangle of Sadness or like at the same time, whatever it was. But like, I'm sure that like they said they were like pretty upset that like they saw that movie and they're like, God damn it. But it is like a foreign film. It's not like it was an Oscar movie. It's not necessarily like outside of Harris Dickinson. I feel like it's not one that like most people would even know of.
No,
So yeah,
like Triangle of Sadness did like 26 million worldwide. So like not that many people saw it, you know.
Yeah, or even maybe even know what the twist is. So it's like if you've seen that movie, you're like, I kind of know what's coming in this movie, or like you're gonna
Yeah.
guess that that's what's coming. It's not necessarily exactly the same, but it's basically the similar kind of a thing. But what I love is that I think one of the critics was saying that this movie's like Triangle of Sadness for the freaks, and I was like, yes, that is
Yeah.
exactly right, and that's how I feel about it. Like this is much more of like. Plus, it's just two characters. It's very much more, I would say it's a lot more commercial of a story than Triangle of Sadness. Because,
Yeah.
like, one of the things I like about this movie compared to that is that Triangle of Sadness is great, but like, you don't get to know the character who's like the one who like is in charge on the island,
Mhm.
who's like basically the like trash
Yeah.
collector on the ship. She becomes like the leader of the crew because she's the only one that knows how to like survive and take care of
Yeah.
them. And it's like she is not even in the film, I don't think, until they land there, right? Like
Yeah.
maybe she's in the background, but like you don't ever hear her speak or say anything. So one of the things I thought when I watched it was like, I wish she had been a character in the movie before we got here. I understand that that's the point and the shift kind of
Yeah.
happens, but I was also like, just like you have staff talking to other people in certain scenes. You could have thrown her in there. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Well,
that's why I feel like this one hits a little bit better for me in that whole element of like somebody who had no power all of a sudden having power, and like the journey of that with like the one character is something that was like way more enjoyable to me in this one.
yeah. Well, and they're totally different movies. Like Triangle of Sadness, like you don't remember necessarily the characters, you remember the crazy things that happen throughout
Exactly.
the movie.
It's all
Like
the situations, like
the
the
poop, the
yeah,
Somali pirates, like
yes, like the
and then they
craziest
end
shit.
up on the island. It is entirely driven by these two characters, and
Yeah,
this is much closer to like Castaway than Triangle of Sadness. There's a
agreed.
similarity in the final twist, but like this movie, like I'm not watching this movie for a twist.
No, that's what I was gonna say. Like, I think if you've seen it, you might have an idea of where it's heading. But like
Yeah.
again, I don't think that ruined my enjoyment in any way because the element to me that I was unsure of this whole time is this a rom-com or is this like a horror thriller?
Yeah.
Right. And I didn't know which direction they were gonna go until the last minute, I think.
Yeah.
And that's what I liked about it, is because like it's not necessarily about the quote unquote twist. It's more about the will they, won't they, weirdly,
Yeah.
of like, are they going to kill each other or are they going to fall in love? Like, I didn't know. And I
Yeah.
was hoping for both, but also like, I didn't know which one. Like, I like that was the element that kept me in suspense, I feel.
Yeah, this is a movie, and similar to like Drag Me to Hell, I watched this movie for the journey, not
Yeah.
the destination. Like
Mhm.
Drag Me to Hell is a very similar thing where it's like, oh my god, what?
Each
What's going
scene,
on?
I'm like, fucking Sam Raimi, you sicko. Like,
Yeah.
this is fucking gnarly. Like, the old woman, her teeth are out. She just like puts her mouth on the girl's chin. I'm like, why is she doing that? It's so gross. Or like, there's like, she gets hit by an anvil in like the girl's dream, and then her eyes pop out into the girl's mouth. And I'm like, what the fuck, Sam Raimi? Like, Jesus, this is PG-13? Fuck. Like, I still am like, good God, this movie. But you're right. It is like, that's just him. That's how it's gonna be. You know,
Yeah.
it's gonna be about the way getting there. It's the same with Evil Dead, right? You're like,
Yeah.
the journey is fucking insanity left and right. Every new scene is something crazier than the last.
Yeah, and also like I don't think about the twist so much as I think about like the actual ending and like that
Yeah.
whole sequence, and I'm like, this is hilarious. And this is
Exactly.
great.
And they did such a good job of like making it like I didn't think that it was anything where like, oh, they just copied the ending of that. Like it was more just like, oh, I bet that these were just like written and
Yeah.
didn't know each other were going to be made. So like that was actually the case. And I'm like, cool, because I was like, I didn't think this felt like it was totally taking over as like, we're just trying to do something that's been done before, but for a more commercial audience. Like this felt like something actually unique. And I think the like boss to like employee aspect of it is a great spin on it and shows like that's probably more of the thing that they went with this film instead of being like, let's start with Triangle of Sadness and copy it. Cause it's like, why would you even want to do that? But I think the idea of like the power changing the power dynamics changing when they're on the island from like being in the real world is such a great thing. And it's one of those like wish fulfillment things. Because I think
Yeah.
everybody who's ever been an underling, who's like probably most people, right? Like there's barely any CEOs, but they somehow have all the money. It's like you totally have been in situations like this where you're like, good God, if only I knew exactly what to do on a desert island and I was stranded there with somebody who made me feel that way. Oh boy, I would probably not I would definitely not be as nice as Rachel McAdams, I
Yeah.
don't think.
Well, and
But
then
who
also,
knows?
then also like the nepotism aspect of it, of like
Exactly.
this kid is
Yeah.
becoming the CEO of this giant company that his father built. And
And he acts like he made it because he's like, I'm the CEO of Fortune 500 company. It's like, okay, yeah, you mean your father was. It's
Yeah.
like, that's not something you've actually should be proud of. Like, you haven't done anything.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say, I think this movie maybe like had this and like Weapons for a movie trailer. I think they're like the best hooks for a
Yeah,
movie that I can think of in like recent times, where it's like
agreed.
one sentence description of the movie,
I'm
weapons,
sold.
a bunch of kids in the middle of the night, they all run away at the same time, and they're all from the same class. What? That's weird. What's going on? And they also do
Exactly.
the Naruto run. Like,
Yeah.
that's crazy. This is like, think Castaway, but you are stuck with your asshole boss. And
And now you're
you
in
know how
charge.
to survive, and they don't. I'm
Mhm.
like, oh, I'm there. Like, I saw the trailer. I'm like, I'm seeing this in theaters no matter what. Like, I'm hooked on this idea. And me and
Yeah,
Sarah went and saw it. She loved it. She thought it was so fun. Like, this movie is a blast. And
literally.
it feels so good to see Sam Raimi just back into his groove again. Like,
100%. Like, if you like anything to do with Sam Raimi, if you like any of his other films, I implore you to rent this and watch it because if you like one of his films, I have a feeling you will like this one. It has
yeah,
a lot of his different, like his past style elements that he's known for, but it also feels a little bit different and still unhinged and fun in the way of like Drag Me to Hell, but I would say a little bit more restrained, oddly, which
yeah.
is crazy, but only a little bit because there's like that old lady just adds a whole other unhinged element to that movie that he goes nuts with. But this one I think is like, it's just if you're a Sam Raimi fan of any kind, this will hit. And then also if you are interested just based off of the hook of the plot, like this movie delivers as well. So it's
Yeah.
like if you're a Sam Raimi fan, check it out. But even if you're not, or you've never seen any of his films, like just the hook of the storyline, if that intrigues you, like it'll deliver for you. Like this movie does it. It gives you exactly what you hope for in this kind of scenario. There's so many moments that are so good and so delicious even though they're like maybe gross out scenes, but like they're so good in the imagination of like, God, wouldn't it be good to do that? Or like it's
Yeah.
like this wish fulfillment thing of like, I know it's a fantasy, but I sometimes, you're like, oh, that would be kind of nice.
All right, so let's just go through the movie. I mean, first it starts off with Rachel McAdams being just unbelievably relatable. Like,
Yes.
she's just exhausted, she's tired, she's unkempt, and like she just looks so tired from everything. And
They
just
do make a good job of making her look like pretty drab
yeah,
compared to like if we know that's Rachel McAdams under there. She's gorgeous. He really accentuates like close up shots of her mole, which I
yeah,
read that like other directors have kind of shied away from that and like
yeah,
kind of maybe hid it or like not filmed it as much. And Sam Raimi's like, I'm going all in, baby. Cause like I think
yeah,
her mole's cute, but like he's like really focusing in on it and getting those really like intense up close shots, which he's like got the tuna fish and like it's just like the right stuff that makes it like I never would believe like it'd be like if they had cast like Rachel McAdams as Carrie, you'd be like, come on.
yeah.
No, like this is like when they did Chloe Grace Moretz as Carrie. You're like, doesn't work. She's not believable, no matter how good she can act. I don't think she's gonna be the weird girl.
Yeah,
But Rachel McAdams weirdly really nails it. Like
yeah,
you believe that she's like the awkward girl who like is kind of like maybe just not the she just has something off about her, and it's also like the weird jokes and the things that she says, which I think is relatable in the way of like when she's like, oh, looks like the company ladder's not working again, or so, or the
Yeah.
company like elevator's not working again, gonna have to take the stairs.
Yeah, like she seems kind of like the person that like has dedicated her entire life to her job.
Yeah,
And so then just like other things have kind of fallen to the side. Like she doesn't have any friends. You
she
know,
just
it's
has
just
her bird,
her
sweetie.
bird. Like I thought it was so funny, like when she goes home and she's just talking to her bird, and then she just watches Survivor.
I know.
It's like
Honestly, she's so funny though, and she's like the way that she's talking to the bird and everything. And I was like, "Is our bird ladies the new cat ladies?
that's a good
Do you
call.
think that's the thing? I
I
think it is. I
but
think it makes sense.
I love when she's like, "If they vote off Keyshawn, I swear to God."
I know. It's just so relatable because I do feel like in that way, like I don't have a bird, but I do sit and talk to my dog that way when I'm
Yeah.
like, what a fucking day. Am I right, dude? Jesus. That's what I'm saying. Right? I know. And when he barks, I just pretend what I think he's saying. I think a lot of people do that, but it just works with a bird. It makes you a little crazier. It
Yeah.
seems weirder. But I love it. And she's even like sharing the toast with the bird, and
Yeah.
it's like really funny. But I'm also like, oh, she's like she's funny, but she's like so sad at the beginning. And you like in that way, it's relatable because we all don't feel great and perfect and confident all the time. She's like just so relatable that she's really trying, but like everything just keeps blowing up in her face. And like when she sees the guy who like takes all of her reports, and then like he's like, oh yeah, it has your name on it, don't worry. But then he like takes the post-it and he's like, oh yeah, I spent all night on this or whatever. And it's like, fucking douche. I would literally walk in there, but I'm also like, I don't think I would in real life. I say that in that moment. You're like,
Yeah.
oh bitch, go in there. But you're like, in real life, you probably would also feel like shot down and embarrassed and like uncomfortable like she does. And then like when they don't give her the job and they give it to that same dude, I was like, dude, this chick is like, I mean, you're right. I think she really did dedicate her entire life to this job, because I was like, when he says, I'll take you to China and you can prove me wrong, I don't think I would go. I think I'd be
Yeah.
like, I'm leaving the company if you don't give me that job.
Yeah. Well, especially since his dad promised her
That's what
a
I'm saying. She's been
promotion.
there 7 years, and that guy's been there like what, 2 months or something, they said.
Yeah.
So it's like, really? Okay. Like that's the thing. I asked Nolan that when we watched it, because I was like, would you ever like, I feel like I would quit if they didn't give me that job. That's what I would say. And he was like, but I mean, if you put in 7 years there, you don't think you would like maybe do it one last shot? And I was like, I don't know though. If it was for the first boss, like the dad, sure.
Yeah.
But if it was for this asshole son, I'm not helping him if that's the way he's going to treat me immediately, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was like, I mean, I get it though, but she's for the type of person that Linda Little is, which great character name, first off. She's like, she's a superhero waiting to be getting her powers, which is kind of how it goes. She feels like, yeah, this feels in line with her because it has been her whole life to not just quit. But like, I'm like, God, I don't know. Maybe I feel like that would maybe push me to pass my limit if they did something like that. It's pretty egregious.
Yeah. But also, like, at the same time, like, she's clearly good at her job, and it can be scary to leave something that's like secure and
Yeah,
like I
that's
don't
true.
know. So
I
especially
like
like
to think I have a lot of self-respect in hypothetical scenarios, basically. So we'll see. I don't know if this ever happens. We'll see what I do. But I would like to think that I wouldn't go on the China trip. But if she didn't, then we wouldn't have a movie to talk about. So it's
yeah.
kind of pointless. But I was just curious what your thoughts are, because I was like, I don't fucking think I would even I wouldn't even go for like the final shot. I'd be like, well, fuck this shit.
It's crazy. And I mean, this is where the Rachel McAdams is maybe the best actress in Hollywood tour starts, because she starts off as this like really awkward, uncharming, uncharismatic person.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's Rachel McAdams. She could charm anyone to do anything. And so she's
Yeah.
so good at being awkward like that. But then yeah, when she hears that the other guy gets the job, like that scene of her walking down the hall and like, don't cry, and then
I know.
gets into the car, like I was like, is she going for an Oscar? She's
I know.
so good.
This is what I'm saying. That scene is really heartbreaking when she's like, stop it. You are good enough just the way you are. I was like, God damn it. Yes, you are, Linda. Fuck,
And-
listen to yourself. Because I
and
was
then-
like, that's so relatable, I think, too.
Yeah, and then
Of
when
like,
they
the don't cry, you know, especially as a woman. I feel like you never want to cry at the office. And if you do, you're like, fuck.
well, then when like they watch her Survivor submission video
Oh
and
my
like
God, it's
just
like
her
so
face,
cruel.
like it hurts.
I was like, dude, the fact that they're first off, I don't know where they got that audition video, unless they post those online as a joke, which is mean. But I was like, this is like the meanest thing I've seen people do in a long time. Like that's just like to her face.
Yeah.
And Dylan O'Brien like turns around and gives the perfect douchebag of like,
Yeah.
like the way that he laughs, it's just such a douche laugh. I thought he nailed it. That I was like, oh, I want to murder all of these guys. So then the fact that they all die pretty like most of them die pretty horrifically during the plane crash is like such instant gratification. And I think one of my favorite parts of the movie is like the whole plane crash is so much. It's great because it's like freaky, but it's also like hilarious. Like
Yeah.
I didn't see this in theaters, but I imagine that the whole theater lost it when the guy like was holding onto her leg, the fucking asshole who stole her job, and then he was like, when he finally could talk to her, climbs up and he's like, "Give me your seat." It's like, what the fuck, dude? Are you serious? Like, no way. And I love that she has to like, the other guy grabs onto him, and then they're like fighting it out. 'Cause he's like I'm like, these guys have no loyalty even to each other after two. Like, it's so great. It just fits very accurately with how
Then he
dumb
gets
they are.
hung by his tie on the
the tie
plate, and
getting
she
caught.
just closes the window.
And he's like, do something. And she just closed the window. I lost it. And I bet that was so much fun in the theater because I feel like that's a moment where everyone's like, wow, that's great.
Yeah.
She's
Oh.
literally just so like that's what I'm saying is that there's a lot of great like oh shit moments when they're on the plane, but I just think like the humor throughout it is just like Sam Raimi delighting in the awfulness of things and like the grossness of things or like the violence and having fun with it, and you feel like you're in on the joke with him, so it doesn't feel like it's too much.
Yeah, and he sets it all up really good. Like establishes her as like
You're on her side absolutely no matter what. From
And-
like I would say as soon as the plane crashes and she finds just Dylan O'Brien and you're like, oh, she's like, oh fuck. And you're like, God, I'm with her too. Like she doesn't need him.
yeah. Well, and then like establishing her skill set, like she knows how to survive in these situations.
Yeah.
And then Dylan O'Brien is just this entitled nepo baby who
Yes.
like I thought it was so funny when he has the tuna on his hand and he's just like he goes to the other guy, he's like, smell it. Like
Yeah. It's like the worst kind of fucking dude. And it's like he literally though is so good in this movie that I thought like I've seen him in a bunch of stuff by now, but I find that like he really surprised me in this one.
I have not seen him in anything, I feel like.
Really?
Like I recognize his movie from a couple of years ago, Caddo Lake. I didn't
Caddo Lake.
Caddo Lake. I didn't watch that, but like I saw that he was on it. So like I recognized his face from that. But like mostly then oh yeah, he was like in the Maze Runner movies. But like I recognized him from a random episode of New Girl. And
Oh, yeah.
like he's really funny in that, but so like I didn't really see a lot of him until I started seeing the interviews with him and Rachel McAdams
Oh,
and like
okay. So
those
that was like the
clips.
first exposure.
Also incredible beard. He has a thick
Yes.
full beard. I was like, if I could grow a beard, that's
You're
the
pretty
beard
jealous.
I want. Like
Yeah.
it's like half of his face. It's awesome.
Yeah. No, totally. I've only seen him in one movie, or I guess a couple movies, but the one I saw, it was from 2020 called Love and Monsters. And it's like an
Okay.
apocalypse with monsters. And then he has to he wants to like leave and go find this girl that he like knew before, and he wants to make his way to where she is and be with her. And it's a great movie. It's a great little journey movie. And it's very Sam Raimi, like it's kind of gross and fun, and he's good in it. He's really good. But I loved him on Curb Your Enthusiasm. He played himself, and he was like going to be starring. He was meeting with Larry to like star in the TV show that Larry was doing called Young Larry, and he was like meeting to talk to him about it. And he like really loved dogs, and so he was like Larry had to pretend that he liked dogs and all this funny shit. Anyways, it just was good. And he was good at playing himself. Sometimes people are weird when they do, stuff like that. But Caddo Lake, I thought he was really good in. That's like a very twisty kind of a Shyamalan film on HBO Max that I would recommend. But I would say this, I've heard Twinless actually from last year was something that he was in that was really, really good. And he made a lot of people impressed. But I heard the same things about Send Help with him. And I thought he shows a lot of range here doing a lot of different stuff because he's not just a total douchebag like you would think from even just the trailer or like seeing his work before now. You might think that that's like all he's going to be or like a scared little bitch.
Yeah.
But really, he has a lot. Like, I think the best thing is pretty close, like pretty soon after they when he's trying to boss her around and shit after he wakes up and he can't even walk and he can't do anything. And then she's like, okay, bye. And just like leaves. And his whole thing when she's walking away, because she takes the conch or whatever shell, and he's like, not the snail thing. And he's like, no. And he starts laughing. And then as soon as she's out of eyesight, he's like, wait, you didn't leave me any water or any food. Wait, what? And then he the little montage that they just do, panning to his face.
He's foaming at the mouth.
It's the different stages of him where he's like, oh, she'll be back any minute now. And then it's he's just starting to get angry and he's like, oh, really? Okay. And then he's like, I could do this all day. I got nowhere else to be. Huh? Yeah, let's fucking go. And it's just and then he starts losing color in his face. His fucking shelter gets destroyed. He has no water. He's dying. I thought that just him just slowly just eroding away into this fucking just ready for death, just laying limp on the beach was just a really great sequence. And I thought already was damn, that was good. I wasn't expecting all that from him.
Well, he's hilarious. Him and Rachel McAdams, they go pound for pound in this movie. But I love the following scene of that when she's she makes the spear and she's like, I saw boar tracks, and he's like, are you gonna hunt a boar, Linda from accounting?
I personally I love right after that too when she comes back and gets him and saves him and gives him water or whatever, and then the next scene is she's coming back making the spear and he just goes, oh, there you are. He's like, I thought you weren't ever coming back for a minute there. It's he just immediately was like, oh god, she's never coming back again. Just really good. I love you're right, he's very, very funny, but he really goes through it in this movie, and he just is there's certain scenes where you're he could do a one-man show even when he's just when he goes off to try to be independent by himself is another kind of a one-man sequence of just him failing over and over and having to basically come back and beg, and it's just so good. He's funny, but and I think I've you've seen a lot of stuff. If you've seen what he's been in, you can imagine he'd be quirky or funny or whatever. But he's really funny in this and has such good chemistry with her. And the fact that he's also he's kind of got this thing where you don't know what he's really thinking ever, if he's ever actually breaking through anything or if he's ever actually changed. That's what I feel you're kind of in the boat with her the whole movie where you're I can't believe you. I don't know if you're going to actually if she's ever going to break through to him.
Yeah.
Because you're at first you're no, this is what he absolutely fucking deserves.
Yeah.
He deserves this shit. And even trying to boss her around is just the audacity. But you're of course, this kid's fucking been entitled this whole life. It makes sense.
So it's funny you say that. I thought the writing for this movie was amazing because I feel as the movie progresses, their characters kind of switch. He's an asshole and you're he deserves this, but then he becomes a little more sympathetic throughout the movie, whereas Rachel McAdams starts very sympathetic, but then there's just little things that happen where you're I don't know if she's actually the good guy. The first time she sees the boat and doesn't scream for help, you're she's thriving here. She's actually doing well. She wants to stay here.
And you're kind of honestly at this point with the way that he had been acting still, I was kind of I don't necessarily hate her for making that decision.
Yeah.
Because I kind of feel like Bradley, he's gonna need a long time to get
Yeah.
back to like being a good person, if
Yeah.
ever. And so I agree. Like they pretty early on, they show you that like she sees a boat and she's about to say something, but then she doesn't. But you're also like, good for her. I want her to have this happiness because she's clearly
Well-
had an entire lifetime of not this.
Well, and she sees the boat right after she has the waterfall glow up scene,
Yes.
which I thought that
great.
was amazing. Like
So good.
she just killed a boar and blood everywhere.
That whole sequence is
that's
just delightful.
incredible. It just the way that it keeps trying to kill her and just more blood just gets
And then
thrown
she
at-
just drops the head at his feet and she's like, you ever hunt?
I think I like it.
I think I like it. And I'm like, Jesus, fuck. She has these moments in this movie that I think like if there's any doubt that this could be like a horror film, like I do think like there's some moments where she gets a look in her eye where you're like, yeah, this is a horror film. Like it feels similar to like almost scarier than Kathy Bates' Misery.
Yeah. Kathy Bates
And-
Misery, you're like, she's unhinged the entire movie. And this
But
you're like,
this one you're like, I can't tell if she's gonna, oh no, she's gonna go there. And then you're like, but is she? I don't know. But also I kind of am like, she's skating the line for a
Yeah.
bit. But also it's such a good for her movie because I'm like, she's gone through so much more shit than he has in just a few weeks. Like she could do this for 30 years and maybe they'd be even.
yeah.
Like that's the thing. She's dealt with this her entire life. So it feels like, I was like, I'm pretty sure I would let her get away with straight up murder on this island.
Yeah.
I think that I figured that out from the get-go. And especially because of how great she is at everything. And I love how he's like, well, you're playing Susie fucking homemaker over here. And
Yeah.
it's like, of course that's what you'd say, you idiot.
Yeah, it's great. And also like I love when she just like randomly is super cute. Like when she makes a backpack.
Yeah,
she's like,
isn't it
look
nice?
at it.
Yeah. And he's like, yeah, it's so cute.
But I mean, so then my other favorite parts of these movies, it's there's multiple scenes in this or scenes of this. It's when she reestablishes the power. Like the first time is when she leaves him for like 8 hours and then she comes back and he's like
I
dying.
think that was like multiple days.
I
I don't think it was 8 hours. I think it was like at least 2 days.
I interpreted it as 8 hours that felt like forever because he is so incapable of surviving. Because
I think it would be 3
the-
days at the max, actually, because you're right.
well, like
'cause
the
though-
daytime, it's always daytime in that time lapse.
There's
It
a
never
couple night times.
there was a nighttime. Okay,
There was at least
maybe
once or
maybe
twice.
it was just overnight.
The max it could be would be 3 days because like the rule of 3, and if you're surviving, is that you can live without like what
Water.
is it? Water for 3 days only.
Yeah,
And I think for 3 weeks you can live without food, which is nuts.
yeah.
But 3 days, I'm pretty sure, is water. So like you'll die before you hit the 3 weeks if you have no fresh water. So the most she could have left him without water would have been 3 days.
But when she comes back and she just has that one line of like, we're not in the office anymore. Like just the
Yeah.
seriousness that she goes with that. But then like the next scene is the sushi scene when she like makes her whole spread of sushi. And then he comes and he's like, hey, can I join you again?
Oh, that's after the second time that he goes away though. Because
Oh, yeah,
remember,
yeah.
so
He goes
the
away.
first time
He's like
yeah.
next door to her. Like
Yeah,
and he tries
goes
to
down
build
the
the
beach,
thing.
but he tries to live there for like at least a couple days, it looks like. And that's when he comes back after he eats the beetle, which is so gross.
And she makes
and-
the helpful sign.
Yeah.
Help.
And yeah, when he's like making that, yeah, and it's like the L and the P backwards. He's like, God damn it. I just love it because he doesn't think things through at all.
Mhm.
And that's like one of his character flaws. And it's like something that continues to happen throughout the entire film. Even when he starts to try and think ahead, he's still not thinking that far ahead.
Yeah.
He's still a fucking idiot, which I love. But when he goes away the second time and it's like a little bit longer, and the fact that he could like see how much she's thriving next to him is what's so funny
Yeah.
because he's like got the bugs on him. He's trying so hard to like just live and none of it works. So when he's trying to capture the water and it just like as soon as he gets set up and the water, like the rain just stops all of a sudden, it was like, that's like so silly, but I loved it, you know? Like it
Well,
was
then
great.
he eats the bug and he just screams. I mean, Dylan O'Brien, he does not have one scream. He has like 8 different screams in this movie.
A lot of them are very girly.
Like he
Like
has
his scream on the plane.
he eats the bug and he has the deep guttural scream, but then yeah, he has like these several screeches that happen. It's so
So
funny.
goddamn good. And the fact that like, yeah, when he comes back the second time and he's like, I'm so sorry. I was wrong. I didn't think you are amazing. You're so great. You look beautiful, by the way, if you don't mind me saying. Nolan was like, that's me whenever I've done something to make you mad and I don't know what it is, but I'm trying to apologize. And it's like, if you don't mind me saying, it's like, I don't. And it's like, may I sit? And it's like, sure, let's talk about it. Yeah, we can entertain that idea. The fact that he's just like drooling basically the whole time while
Yeah.
she's doing that. Fucking great. Honestly, she just like has like I was saying, like she has so many moves where she gets to flip the tables on him multiple times
Yeah.
because he just doesn't get it, that they're so enjoyable to watch and so delicious because it just feels like God, the power that would feel and how good that would feel would be
Yeah.
just like it's so like I'm like, oh man, that's like what you watch this movie for is those kind of like scenarios.
Yeah,
And the
like,
fact that she gets so many good ones where she gets to just be like, yes, admit it, you're an idiot, you were wrong. I know
Yeah.
what I'm doing. Yeah, I know it's hard for you to like, submit to my authority, but like you clearly have learned, hopefully by now, after the first 2 times that you literally cannot survive. I mean, by the second time, at least he's walking, but like limping still. But like he can't do anything for himself out there. And it's just a great thing because if you think about like in the world, how many fucking CEOs would be in the same situation if you put them on an island with somebody who was like a regular worker? Even like fucking, I think I could figure out how to survive more than a CEO because I've like fucking read survival stories and paid attention to that shit. I'm definitely not someone who's ever been in that scenario, but like I've watched enough movies. I've read about shit. I think I would have at least a chance. I doubt a CEO has ever thought that they would ever end up there. Right?
CEOs can't even print to PDF. So
Exactly. Like they're so helpless. But that's what's great is the idea of taking someone who abuses their power in the real world and then getting to abuse them is like just such a great wish fulfillment. And she gets so many moments, but I think for me, the third moment is her best.
Oh yeah, the paralyzed scene.
When he like because when he's like because then I would say after the second time that he like when he leaves and comes back and he apologizes, then you have this brief stretch of the movie that feels like a rom-com.
Yeah, like you get another incredible scene with Rachel McAdams talking about her abusive husband and like
When they get drunk
they
and she
get
talks
drunk
about, yeah.
together and like she's delivering that story. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
God. Like
And like how he would abuse her and he always was looking for his keys to drive, but she never gave them to him until that last night when she poured him a drink and gave him his keys. And it's like, ooh, that was chilling. But also
Yeah.
like, I mean, was she wrong? Only if he killed somebody else, I would say.
that
Hopefully he just killed himself in his DUI when she
Yeah.
like let him out. Like hopefully he didn't kill like a family too. Like that's the thing that I would be concerned about. But with this, it feels like something that you're like, okay, that adds a little bit of flavor, a different flavor for Linda. But also I don't think it totally like it didn't make her unsympathetic to me.
Yeah, but it puts a little bit of doubt. Like it's a gray area of like,
Yeah.
ooh,
Even he clocks it.
that guy definitely deserved to die, but I don't know if I like that she just like gave him permission to go kill himself. Like a little bit of gray area. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's also just great writing. It's like
Exactly.
this is a complicated scenario and
They
it's not
push you to the limits of
not
is it okay?
yeah, like this isn't a movie where you're supposed to just like love every single thing about all the characters. Like there's some questionable things. Like Bradley is a very questionable person. Like he's
Overall,
interviewing that girl at the office. He's like,
Yeah, the assistant.
how above and beyond are you willing to go for me? Which is like very clearly
Sexual.
an innuendo. And then we meet his fiance seconds later. So
She's
it's like,
gorgeous. And it's like, of course. And I love the fact that like the second time when he comes back and
and
apologizes,
she
she
says
uses
it.
that line and he goes to take off his pants. It's like, all right, keep your shirt on. Like I'm not like you. But I was like,
Yeah.
hey, maybe she will. That's what they did in Triangle of Sadness. Like I
Yeah.
was like, sex favors are not off the table here. I wasn't sure. And then I thought maybe if the sex is so good, then they'll fall in love. But they don't do that. But you could tell like the thing that makes Rachel McAdams a really great, complicated character in this movie is because, like you said, like, yes, there's things like that where you're like, okay, that's kind of a sketchy thing that she does. And then there's also moments though where you're like, I still feel like I understand where she's coming from, right?
Yeah.
And then
we actively are trying to convince ourselves throughout the movie that she's good.
because also like the rom-com element of it, like you could tell she really loves, like she's falling in love with him and she really does have feelings for him.
Yeah.
But you're like, I don't believe that he is going anywhere near that. Like after his disgust by her initially in the first like half of the movie, there's like, I mean, but the thing is, he's so good at
Yeah.
like what he's doing that like it fools you a little bit too, where you're like, I
Yeah.
kind of feel like Linda, like when he's like, can I cook you dinner? And it's like, oh, that would be so nice. And
Yeah.
it's like they huddle together in the cave and like all these little things that you're like I thought maybe that's where this could go, which I was like, I
Yeah.
wouldn't expect that in a Sam Raimi film, but like they kind of made me buy it. And also you're like, outside of like the beginning of the movie, like Rachel McAdams is fucking gorgeous. And I know
Yeah.
she's a little weird, but she's funny. She's gotten better since the being on the island. Like
Yeah.
she seems more normal. But then after like when they're eating and then she's like, I don't feel so good. You're like, oh, of course. Because when you see that like the food that he made, did you guess when you saw it was like all covered in the yellow and she had mentioned that shit about the yellow berries before?
I didn't clock that, but then after it happened, I was like, oh yeah, that's right.
I noticed that on my second watch because like the first time I don't think I caught that, but I was like, oh yeah, it's all yellow and it looks like he just spread that as jam all over
Yeah.
all the food, which is hilarious. And I love that even when she afterwards is like, I thought that it might be, but I was really hoping it wasn't. And the fact that like within probably 20 seconds of him being like, are you okay? It's like he runs off and she's like, ah shit. Like she realizes that he did it. And then he like runs out with like this fucking raft. And you're just like, what the fuck? And his whole like, fuck you, Linda.
Yeah.
It's so goddamn funny when he's like trying to sail away, like, ha ha, I got it, I'm going, woo. And then the fact that like it's great because also if you've seen Castaway, you know exactly what's about to happen because you're like, there's no way that this guy built a better raft than Tom Hanks did for the first or the second, like the first time he did in that movie. And it just breaks apart because the waves are so strong. You need to have a way stronger boat in order to get past it. And so the fact that it just immediately fucking breaks and he's like, it was just so good for the asshole, like, fuck you, Linda. Like the way that he does it is just perfection. And it really like, you're like, oh, this is going to be even better than before. Like this was like, I knew as soon as he wiped out and lost consciousness that I'm like, oh yeah, whatever she's going to do to him now is going to be like 10 times worse than what we've seen.
I
Because
mean,
she
she's
wasn't really that bad to him before. She just maybe left him out in the sun a little long or
yeah.
whatever, you know, but like she really hasn't done anything that bad, it feels like, except for maybe not telling him about the boat and not calling for help.
Yeah.
But
Well, I
then
mean, she starts off with throwing up all over him.
which is why it's my favorite sequence because I normally would hate that. But the fact that I was like, I Googled it because I was like, I don't think I've ever seen this before in cinema. And it has not been done. This is, I think, the first of someone giving CPR while puking. I was like, that's a very specific gag. And I don't think I've literally seen it anywhere else, which
Yeah.
is great. But yeah, it feels like the puke and that element is so funny because it's like she doesn't even wake him back up or resuscitate him with the mouth to mouth. It's
Yeah.
like because he's being puked on and he's like, what the fuck? It's why he wakes up. So yeah, all of that plus I would say that whole sequence all the way up until he gets his comeuppance is probably my favorite little like stretch of the movie, but also like, oh, you fucking deserve it, dude.
Yeah.
You know?
And yeah, so then we get to the paralyzed scene where she gets her revenge. And that is, again, just another incredible performance by Rachel McAdams. Also, Dylan O'Brien's groaning and facial expressions while he's paralyzed, also just
He really
fantastic.
did good that I was like, did they actually paralyze him to do that? Because it feels a little too realistic. But I mean, obviously actors have to do that and other stuff. That one guy has to do it in that Anaconda's Hunt for the Blood Orchid. He has to do the same kind of a thing. It's like you can only move your pupils, basically.
Yeah.
Seems like a really tough challenge, but I loved it. Like just even from the opening of that scene where he's about to get his punishment, it starts off, don't you think, like, to me at least, it starts off like it's focusing on him and she's like in the background. It briefly cuts to her a couple times, but like for the most part, it stays on him as he's just like apologizing, whatever. And then he's like eating, and like once he starts eating, and then it's like, and then once that kicks in, it like really just stays on him. And the only times it cuts to Rachel McAdams, she's terrifying. But
like
it's like legit horrifying.
Well, yeah, like when she gives her whole story and monologue,
Like, I'm gonna clip your balls. You're like, okay, yeah.
it is chilling. Like it reminded me of Kathy Bates in Misery.
Just the casualness of which that she talks about it, and as she's doing it, and like the blood, and you're hearing the noises, and she just seems so casual, like, oops, you're a bleeder.
Yeah.
Like it feels very similar to Kathy Bates and being like, God, I love you, right after she shatters his ankles and
Yeah.
shit. Like, what the fuck? Like some crazy that took it up a notch where you're like, I mean, I definitely was like, okay, this guy fucking deserves it. But then I was like, damn, Linda.
Yeah.
Fucking Linda from accounting, huh? She's really going all the way. Jesus. Were you like, I imagine as a man, that's got to be the hardest scene in the whole movie to watch.
It was terrifying. And also in theaters. Like I looked around and there was several like just guys adjusting in their seats. Like
yep. Like that scene in Maxine, when she like crushes the testicles with her heel, and you're like, oh my God. God, all the men in this room, they probably all just jump back up in their body to protect themselves. That's what I would assume. But this is like, you're like, I don't even know. I assume she's just cutting off the balls, but like then the blood and all this stuff, like his reaction is what sells it. It's so good because he can't even feel it. It's just the thought of what's happening because he's like paralyzed, right? So it's just his eyes, and it's fucking incredible. Like again, he went so hard, he didn't have to do it that good, but it really makes a difference.
Well, and that it's a great performance when you are questioning whether or not she actually did it.
Yes.
Like the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm like, I think she did it. Like
I would say her performance alone convinced me that I was like, they're just doing it as a stylistic choice to not show it on camera, because Sam Raimi wouldn't shy away from that, I don't think. But then when she pulls up the dead rat, you're like, okay. And even he's like, holy fuck. And she's like, next time it won't be a rat. You're like, wow, okay. That was probably the scariest scene I've ever seen with Rachel McAdams. Like she was like a legit horror villain.
Yeah, I was like, when that scene ended, I was like, I really want to see her as a full-blown villain in a movie.
Right? Like this one, you still are kind of rooting for her for the most part, but you're also like, I also just can forgive all of her transgressions because it's Rachel McAdams and she's so good. And also Dylan O'Brien is such a shit in this movie that I don't have any sympathy for him. I feel like he earns a little bit there, but I'm also like, no, I still don't trust him. I don't think he was ever going to come around and see that he really was in the wrong before and all this stuff and learn a lesson. But I kind of wanted him to, but I was like, I kind of assume that that's not going to happen. And I'm going to be rooting for Rachel McAdams no matter where this goes.
Yeah, after that scene, I was like, there's no way that this ends well for both of them.
Any thought of the rom-com is like pretty much dead at that point, because you're like, okay, well, he's never coming back from that. The mental trauma alone of thinking that that's what's happening to your body while hearing those noises would probably give you PTSD forever.
Yeah.
And so then the fact that like it doesn't waste much time to getting to the end after that, like, because you're like, yeah, there's no if will they, won't they at this point? Like you're like, this is destined for violence.
Like
this
there
couple.
can only be one.
Yes, this is going to be a Highlander situation. They're going to have to fight to the death. So when it goes to like she's like, oh, it's gonna go try and cheer him up, and then like the fiance shows up on the
Yeah.
boat. I was like, oh boy, that was something I actually didn't predict coming, so I thought it was a nice little surprise
Yeah.
and really funny because
Yeah.
her reaction is just so great, and they're like, so aren't you just so excited? And she's like, yeah, let me show you where he is. It's like so awkward, but I love it. She nailed it, right? Like they're like, they kind of feel like maybe she's just weird because they've been out here this long, but it's also like she's pretty hesitant.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like I would be like maybe red flag, but again, you're like, this person's been stuck on this island for who knows how long at this point. Like these people are probably going to be pretty fucked up.
So on that note, when you watched this, did you think that she killed them, or did you think that like they fell?
I assumed that she killed them, but I was hoping that maybe they just slipped and
Yeah.
that she didn't actually kill them, because I was like, but I didn't care. I was like, either way, I'm still on Rachel McAdams' side. She had to do it. They had to leave. She needed more time with Dylan O'Brien to get him right.
Well, and then it was also like,
I'm
yeah.
such a fucked up fucking fangirl. I'm sorry. What the fuck is wrong with me? But I don't care.
Well, then, but I mean, I thought that maybe she wasn't able to save them, and like that was
But they
maybe
did flip.
maybe that was like part of the guilt.
Well,
that
that
she
was
was
the
feeling,
thing that made
and
me
then
think
we get-
that, 'cause she felt guilty and had the scary dream.
So the reason I thought that she wasn't able to save them was like I was thinking if she killed them, she wouldn't feel guilt about it, because like she just went through this whole thing of making
Exactly.
him believe that she cut his nuts off so convincingly. And so
Yeah.
I was saying, it was like, if she killed them, she would go stone cold.
That's what I thought too.
But the fact that she was that the fact that she needed a sick day afterwards, I was like, oh, maybe she tried to save them and do the right thing, but then like she wasn't able to. And then we get the ghost, which with the classic Sam Raimi jump scare, like the only jump
Yes.
scare in the whole movie.
Oh, there's one earlier. There's only one though, and it's right when
Boar?
she's like, no, the boar is great, but no, it's when the plane crashes, right as she's like about to get out of the plane, like the fucking guy who was hung on the tie, like his body.
Oh yeah, that's right.
is
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like it did a
Yeah.
big jump scare, but it was like that was probably the most unexpected one. Whereas like the dream one, at first you might be like, maybe that chick fell off the cliff and made it,
Yeah.
but then you're like, no. Like I was like, I'm pretty sure this is a dream, and then you get the big jump scare. So to me, I was like, I'm expecting this, and Nolan was too. But the first one really fucking came out of nowhere, which I was like, I love it when they do that. So that it's just really like, whoa, fucking, there we go. My heart's racing. I'm
Yeah.
alive. That's good to know.
But yeah, and then Bradley finds his wife's hand and
Well,
ring.
fiance
Oh yeah,
with
yeah,
the giant ass
fiance.
fucking ring. That's how he knows it's her.
And then that just opens up the most insane final act. Like the fight scene between them is so crazy. Like there's ripping hair, there's biting,
Ripping scalp. Let's
yeah,
just say
ripping
that.
scalp.
This happened recently in another film that we were just talking about, right?
Yeah, I can't think of it off the top of my head, but yeah, there was. Oh, it was Primate.
Duh. I was
Yeah.
just thinking, like, wait, what were we just talking about? The killer monkey? Yes. The killer chimpanzee movie? Absolutely. It was the same. It feels very much like this is a new trend. And it feels like, to me, it reminds me of like when everyone was doing hand trauma. There was a lot of
Yeah.
hand trauma in films and horror for a little while. Didn't catch on fully, not going to be a whole subgenre on its own, thankfully. But this feels like, I hope we don't keep doing this. I really don't like scalps.
Yeah.
When people get scalped, I'm like, fuck that shit. And the fact that like you could rip off someone's scalp by ripping their hair. I've seen so many people get their hair ripped out in movies. I just watched Drag Me to Hell again, and she gets her hair ripped out 50 times in that movie. No scalp. So Sam Raimi's like, I'm going all the way. We're going scalp, baby. Maybe it was in the script. I don't know. But like I've seen it a couple times now, and I'm getting worried because like if I'm gonna be seeing a lot of scalps, I'm gonna need some fucking like some medication or I'll have a panic attack. That's my like one bugaboo. I really hate it. But it's also effective because it's like, fuck. Like she really gets fucked like that. And then the eye gouging, I'm like,
The eye
Jesus.
gouging was crazy.
How is he doing? How is he treating Rachel McAdams this way? When
was
it
like-
was great because you're like, he's at this point where like this bitch killed my fiance. even if she says she didn't, I still believe that she did. That's what he's thinking. And like, I'm gonna kill her no matter what because it's the only way I'm getting out. And then he even finds like the house
Yeah.
and the fact that like I thought honestly at first that like he was gonna find bodies, like she had killed the people who lived in the house.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, they're really going full on villain with Linda. But no, she didn't actually kill anybody to take over the house. She just turned off the security cam. It's a billionaire's place who never shows up. That felt pretty believable.
Yeah.
And very funny because you're like, yeah, when would a knife wash up on shore and like random shit that she has and that she's doing? You're like, how did she find all that fruit on this island and like all these things that you're like, oh, it makes sense now.
Yeah.
She had a fucking fridge. Because even when she feeds him the octopus that's like got the drugs to make him like paralyzed, she says that she caught that a week ago and she's been holding on to it. But it's like, how the fuck are you holding on to it without ice?
Yeah.
Right? He doesn't even think. And that's another reason that I think is like really fun in this movie because it's like things that mostly likely the audience will be picking up on as like, I don't think that they're really that stranded.
Yeah.
Like I think she's near civilization because she seems to like have other supplies. Or like she just seems a little bit too, and then also the don't go to that area of the island. It's all, fucking just like poison and weeds and fucking thorns and you'll just die. It's like there's something over there then. And that's great because he doesn't notice any of this shit or think about any of it and like think twice about any of it until his fiance's hand pops up. And then he realizes, and then he even doesn't even know about. Like he ends up just like when they're mid-fight and like he gets away and he runs off and then he's like, I guess I'll go to that area that you told me never to go in because fuck her. And then that's when he gets to the house. And then their like whole final thing where like, again, he kind of gets you back there thinking maybe he really is going to change or like maybe he's like come around at some point. And like she's got the gun on him and he's like really convincing. But you're also like, don't do it, Linda. Don't fall for it.
Also, Rachel McAdams has like a bloody eye. Part of her scalp is missing. So she's like starting to look like a zombie now.
Literally, she's something out of Evil Dead. And he's like, I love you, like all this stuff. And I was like, oh, he's just doing that because he's trying to be like, oh, let me just, don't kill me. I'll kill you.
Yeah.
And then it's like he takes, or once she realizes, right, that he has that one of the horns off the statue, she's like, oh, you motherfucker. But then he like takes the gun and she's like, oh my God, no. And she's got like the fire poker. And then he like goes to use the gun and it's not loaded. You're like, oh, this bitch is too smart. Because I was like, there's no way he's going to get like, even with like he gets the upper hand a couple times, but I never believed it. Because I was like, I don't think someone who's in strategy and planning would forget to think of something when she's planning out. Like she must have had this ready as a backup. Like she knew. And when shit goes down, she brings the gun and she knew exactly what she was doing. So the fact that it doesn't work and then she beats his ass with the fire poker, I was like, damn. And right to the head was like the best part is just that she says strategy.
You mean the golf club.
Or the golf club, excuse me. Yeah, sorry.
Because then that leads to the great transition where she's back, she's thriving, she wrote a book.
She's got a movie adaptation, she's writing a self-help book, and now she's also fucking playing golf in like a celebrity tournament. It's like, that's what I'm saying. Good for her.
Yeah.
I hate to say, I don't care that Linda killed 3 people, 4 including her husband, but 3 people technically within her stretch on the island. I don't give a fuck. I'm Team Linda. I don't care.
I support toxic women.
I support women's wrongs always over men's rights at this point. Okay. Because we have supported men's wrongs over women's rights for too long. So I can't, this is one of those movies where I'm like, I don't care. I'm still on her team. I want Team Linda all the way. Linda Little is my new, not necessarily role model, but a superhero, I would say to women of like, hey, it's never too late. You can fucking help yourself and change your life. Maybe not the best role model, but I still think, hey, good for this bitch.
All right, well, that's it for Send Help. But don't send help because no help is coming. So you better start saving yourself. That's a cold final line of that movie.
I like that she winks.
Yeah. breaks
keeps me on
breaks
her
the
side.
fourth wall.
Yeah, but then at the end when she's driving away, she does give a kind of scary look. They're like, "Oh boy, hope nobody crosses her."
Oh man, what a fun movie.
Yeah, good times.
Yeah, especially we all need a good laugh right now. So yeah,
More than ever.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, every week we say this, I feel, or that we need something, we need help, we need send help now. Like that. I think that we've been saying that for a while. But you're right. It is just every week it becomes more and more true. We need something nice in this world. Some peace, right? Just something nice and enjoyable every once in a while wouldn't kill us.
All right. Well, next week, we're gonna do something a little bit different, something nice for everyone because everyone's busy and probably doesn't watch as many movies as we do.
True.
So next week, we're gonna kind of do rapid fire, movies that have come out. I don't know. Renee, you're better at explaining it than I am.
It's okay. I was gonna watch you struggle, but I'll jump in. Yeah, I think this will be called more of like is it worth the watch?
Yeah.
And this will be for streaming movies. And there's a lot of stuff I feel like that has come out on streaming that's available to rent or buy, but we haven't had the time to do episodes for everything. We have hit some of it, and we always, we'll hit the stuff usually that we recommend, but I feel like we want to do just kind of a rapid fire talking about everything that's available, because like even as we say this, I'm sure more stuff has come out and will probably be out by next week. So we have a lot to catch up on. Basically, there's a lot of good movies. We are going to run through them quick. We're not going to spoil anything, but we'll just be giving you pros, cons, and ultimate thumbs up or thumbs down if it's worth the rental price or not, or even the purchase price, or if you just wait for streaming or like Tubi or some shit.
Yeah. and then we'll probably open up with part 2 of CinemaCon and all the announcements we're getting there. So
the news continues. There's no getting away from it. I feel like since we just came up with this idea earlier, or after the first day or so, it's like I can't even keep up with the news that's dropping it every hour. So we're gonna have a lot to work through for next week. I imagine it'll be a long one, but it'll be a good one regardless.
Yeah. Well, that is it for this week. We'll see you next week on the regular exclusive podcast.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. We out here.